Hello there, the good person of Tune-Towne, at your service. Back to the Future. What can be said about this trilogy of films that hasn't already been said? I mean, they're tightly written, they're heartfelt, they're some of the greatest science fiction films of all time, and some of the greatest films of all time in general. They're a great story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. We all know them, we all love them. I can't review them because I can't add anything new to saying them. But I will say this, it's a common thing to ask for a Back to the Future Part 4, which has never happened and likely will never happen. There are several reasons for this. Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale actually have it in their contracts with Universal Pictures that a fourth film cannot be made without their consent. And then there's the elephant in the room, Michael J. Fox. He's had Parkinson's disease for over 30 years, and he can't act as well as he once could. While Gale and Zemeckis never planned to make a fourth film, they did have some conversations like, wouldn't this be cool, wouldn't this be fun? But the minute they found out Michael had Parkinson's, they dropped it, and that was the end of that. They feel only Michael can play Marty, nobody else. Gale has often said that when people ask for a fourth film, what they're really asking for is to feel the same emotions and joy they felt while enjoying the films. And even Bob Gale has compared making a fourth film to selling his children into prostitution, several times actually over the years. I'm not making this up. Gale has said that comment several times in many interviews over the years, but I think the version in Variety magazine sums up his main thought, so I'll use this version. People say, why don't you guys do Back to the Future Part 4? When they say that, they're saying, I want something that makes me feel as good as the original did. That's what this is. That's the feeling you're going to get here when you see this show. There's no need to go back to that well. I've seen too many people go back too many times. As I've said many times, the characters in Back to the Future are my family, my children. You don't sell your children into prostitution. End quote.
Isn't that taking it a bit too far?
I would like to respectfully disagree with Gale's comments, as no one has done that before. The first point, nobody's going to have their childhood ruined by a crappy sequel. You can't go into one's mind and tear out happy memories of watching the films and reading about them online and meeting others who like them. That's personal, you can't take that away. The second point, all those film franchises that went on one film too long, where have they gone? They're still here, they still stink, but they don't ruin the originals. Nothing can. That's a hard truth to accept, given how many people love the originals and are passionate about what they loved, but it's the truth. Is Jaws still not one of the greatest films of all time because Jaws the Revenge is one of the worst? Is the Blues Brothers still not a great comedy because Blues Brothers 2000 is not very good? Are Home Alone and Home Alone 2 still not holiday classics because Home Alone 3 wasn't very good? I could go on, but we'd be here all day. No. The originals, they're still remembered, they're still cherished, and the bad sequels that Gale doesn't want Back to the Future to receive, they're often just an interesting curio. As Linus said to Charlie Brown after losing the spelling bee, the world didn't end. The same applies to Back to the Future and all those other film series that went to the well too many times. If there, by some miracle there's a Back to the Future Part 4, and it sucks, the world won't end. The originals will still be there and still be loved and cherished for generations to come, and a fourth film will just be an interesting museum piece that we don't talk about. And if, by another miracle, a Back to the Future 4 was really good, it had a great idea that artistically justified its reason for existence, then that'd be even better. But, that being said, I'm not saying I want a bad fourth film. I don't. I also would rather the series end on a high note, like with 3. But I understand that, as much as it pains to say, they are just films. In a way, I actually admire Zemeckis and Gale for their artistic integrity in not doing a fourth film just for money, or a remake of the first film for that matter. It's actually quite commendable how much they love what they've created and want to protect it for as long as they can. Even if, Gale's comments are a bit extreme, I myself actually agreed with Gale for a very long time. But my mind was changed by one video. The Channel Awesome guys on their Fanscription series did a video on what if Back to the Future Part 4 happened. And this video made me realize a fourth film would not be impossible. And I'm very much now in Christopher Lloyd's camp, that if there's a story worth telling, a fourth film would work. And with that wraps up my latest video. Agree with me, disagree with me, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be leaving the Channel Awesome video in the description, along with some other sources you can read from Gale himself about a fourth film. And until next time, au revoir.